What is up, guys? Flossy Missiles here. In today's video, I'm showing off my 1990 Mazda Miata. So gas prices in California right now are around like $6.50, something like that. A little too high for me. I'm driving my truck around. I'm gonna start daily in this Miata. So I picked this thing up off Craigslist for $1,200, and it hasn't ran since 2017, and it's also stuck in reverse. Body is not too bad on it, some little stuff. Light, and then his fender's pretty banged up. Back's all good, but it's missing the finish panel, which I actually have one, and it's also white, so I'll throw that on there. And then this door has a few dings, which I have a door also, but I don't know if I'll get around to changing that anytime soon. But the second reverse problem, I think, is gonna be an easy fix. This is a really early Miata. It's like, let's see, it's right there. 6 of 89. This sucker is old. This might be one of the oldest ones I've ever had. I didn't even realize how old it was when I bought it until I was loading up on the trailer. And I was loading, I noticed it had a smooth, if you can see it, smooth diff case, which I've only had one other Miata. I've had like 30 Miatas. I've only had one other Miata with a smooth diff case, or diff housing, whatever you want to call them. And those are super old ones. Interior's kind of smoked. Seats are definitely smoked. Is that a little bit of mold? Looks like it. This wheel is shot. Crack in the dash, of course. This thing's busted. There's a little test light in here, so you know they have some issues before. The seat, I think, yeah, the seat's smoked too. It's down to the metal. And got some rust issues in the typical places. The top is absolutely toast. Let's get that top up. Top is shot. Check out the engine. This is exactly how I like to find them. Just stock as a rock. Typical brake master leaking. It's all rusty over there in that corner. They always get rusty right there. I feel like these brake masters always leak. This one hasn't been replaced yet, because you can see, look at the fluid level. That thing's currently broken. Well, it's not an old fix. Looks like they had some overheating issues at some point. Something blew, or maybe just a line blew. I don't know. But we're gonna figure all that stuff out today. Let's see what we got in the trunk. We got some wipers, some funnels, some tools. I love to see all the original stuff in here. It's awesome. Air filter. Oh, sweet. Well, I was gonna say another wheel, but this one's pretty chewed up also. I don't know. Maybe I'll have another one laying around. I don't know. We'll see. And then we got some extra taillights, battery cover, original spare, umbrella. All good things. Okay, cool. First I'm gonna try to jack this thing up and get it out of reverse, and then from there we'll try to get it running. I also went ahead and last night I went to Walmart, got some 10W30, got some coolant, got a battery, a filter, and 5 gallons of gas. So we're gonna get this thing running today. All right, I'm stoked because that was a really easy fix. I got it out of reverse. So 24mm, took out the reverse switch, and there I stuck a screwdriver in the hole. I watched a YouTube video and then just popped the little selector thing back out. And yeah, now I have all the gears and it's not stuck in reverse anymore, so that was way easier. I think this problem has probably happened to this Miata before, because that switch was already down there and it had been removed before, I could tell, and the wires were actually cut. And so I know the 1.8 Miatas, so like 94 and up, they don't have that problem with their transmissions getting stuck in reverse, so I may swap to that later on, since I do have, I have one of those transmissions laying around. Also, I noticed the catalytic converter has been replaced down here, so that's cool. And I noticed that nasty kink in that frame rail. I don't know if someone tried to jack it up right there or something. But yeah, I'm really stoked that the reverse thing was that easy of an issue. And now we just got to get this thing running. All right, I just put that battery in. I'm gonna try cranking this over for the first time. I checked if there was oil in it originally when I got it, so I know there's oil in it. Okay, I got an airbag light. A click. Okay, I need to tighten those battery terminals. Round 3, cleaned up the battery terminals. Brake light, airbag light, okay. And she cranks. Okay, cool, that was easy. All right, now we gotta figure out why it doesn't start. I don't hear a fuel pump clicking on. I do not hear a fuel pump at all. So if I had to guess, that is my problem. This whole area is rusted out right here. And I wouldn't be surprised if the fuel pump shot. It's been sitting for what, 6 years now? But let's get some jumper wires on there and see if we can hear a fuel pump kick on. Here's a test light that was inside the car when I bought it. I'm using it to test which pin is going to be the power to the fuel pump. And I found it because when I crank it, let me see, we get light. So that's the pin. So we're getting power to the fuel pump. Now I'm just gonna hotwire the fuel pump and see if the fuel pump kicks on. If the fuel pump doesn't kick on, then I know that's the problem. With a little 12-volt battery, I have the fuel pump hotwired and it is not coming on. So it looks like the fuel pump is dead and we will have to replace that. I was able to find my backup fuel pump that I had, but looking inside my tank, it is very dirty. And you could tell the fuel pump that came off it had been replaced at least once before, because there's another fuel sock down there. So, and the one that I pulled out had a fuel sock on it, but there's like a, I don't even know, like a green sand looking stuff maybe? I don't know what that stuff is. It didn't smell very good. I'm gonna go ahead and pull that bolt on the bottom and drain this tank, and maybe put some new gas in it, kind of shake the Miata around a little bit and then drain it again. And I'm actually probably gonna go ahead and pull that filter and change the filter, as well as these lines right here. If you can see, these lines are pretty cracked and don't want to risk a fire. This one 14mm bolt, and we're draining, people. And I really hate the smell of this gas. But I got the tank mostly clean, as you can see. Let me try to get a better angle. It was like I was wiping pea soup out of there. Well, the tank's only half clean because there's a baffle right there in the middle that goes to the other side, but that's gonna be as good as I can get it, unfortunately. I'll probably run it for a few thousand miles and then change that filter, hopefully. Get the rest of that gook out, I don't know. New fuel lines, 5 gallons of gas. Let's see if this thing starts. Oh my gosh. Feels like it's not running on one of the cylinders. Look at that. Possibly a clogged fuel injector. Let's give it a minute. Give it a minute, see what happens. It's fully warm now. It's been running for probably 5 minutes and it's smoothed out quite a bit. There's still a lifter tick going on. My radiator cap is leaking. But other than that, it's looking all right. I'm gonna double check the firing order on this thing just to make sure. Oh, the lifter tick just quieted down a little bit. I'm gonna double check the firing order on this thing, make sure everything is right. And it's running smooth enough now, so I'm not worried, but been about 10 minutes now. This thing's quieted down big time. I mean, you could barely hear this thing running. Something interesting, I don't know exactly what's going on, but at around 5,500 RPMs, it acts like it's hitting a rev limiter. Watch. Though, for the most part, I mean, it definitely cleared out. I also noticed there's no belt on the AC compressor, so no AC. Check this out. Alright, so I decided to check my timing because it's so easy to do on this car. Thought throw a timing light on it and see. Dude, this thing was so far out of whack, it wasn't even hitting the board. So I got my timing light, spark cable one, hook it up to this power source, then ground it over there to that bolt. Hit it with the timing light, and we're in time now. Of course, you gotta run a little jumper from the 10 into the ground to get the computer not to interfere. But yeah, she'll rev up all the way now. It actually runs way better now that it's in time. It's crazy, it was so far out. I don't know what someone was doing when they timed it last, but yep, we're in perfect time now, and she's running dang near perfect. So with this car having a little bit of mold, I decided to pull the seats and clean them out, and man, this seat, underneath the seat, was disgusting. So yeah, that's just how bad it is. I do have replacement panels for this, so all this rust is gonna go away, and I'm gonna clean all the rest of this up and get it spick and span. I probably just spent more time taking 6 rusty bolts out than the time it took me to get this car running today. But they're all out and the interior is coming along. I gotta rip out everything to clean it. It's just so messy. There's mold under, you know, certain areas of the seats. See some mold over there. With that rust. This piece doesn't come out and there's a little bit of rust on it, but I'll neutralize out some rust more and all that's gonna end up being good. I was gonna take it for a test spin tonight, but it's not registered. And so I wanted to make sure everything was good other than the registration. And so I was checking if all the lights worked, and I cannot get the running lights for the rear to work. The blinkers work, the brake lights work, but I cannot get the running lights working. So I started doing some work. I looked at the bulbs, of course. I looked at the fuse. Nothing, you know, they were all good. And so then I came and I checked this relay right here. And I plugged a new relay in. It still wasn't working. And I started looking at this plug. It's funny, I pulled off the fuse box on the inside. I'm looking at the back of the fuse box for corrosion or any kind of issues. And then if you look inside this connector, there's some corrosion right there. As soon as I kind of jiggled this relay in there around, it started working again. So, old car problems. It's crazy. This thing's like 30-something years old now. It's a 90, well, made in 89. And yeah, they still feel like newer cars to me, but I guess because I'm used to working on Volkswagens. This is an old car. Everything is working. I was getting ready to go rip it. Thermostat housing started to leak. When you let a car sit for this long, things like this just happen. Well, that's what I'm gonna wrap it up for today's video. If you liked today's video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe to see more car content. Thank you so much for watching.